Good day, children, and welcome to another edition of Division. Today we're going to be talking about how to divide mixed numbers. What is a mixed number, you say? Well, you have a whole number mixed with a fraction. This is a mixed number. But how do we divide it? Well, let me show you. The first thing I would say is we need to turn these into improper fractions. To do this, I simply multiply the denominator by the whole number. So what's 6 times 9, y'all? 6 times 9 is 54, and now I add the 6 to it. 54 plus 6 is going to be 60. So 60 is now up top, and then the denominator stays the same. So it's 60 over 9. We have to do the same thing over here. So what is 7 times 1? 7 times 1 is 7. Now if we add 5 to that, we get 12. So now we have a new fraction of 12 over 7 because the denominator stays the same. Now, next step, we want to do the keep, change, flip. So we're going to go ahead and do keep 60 over 9 the same. We're going to change the sign to multiplication, and we're going to flip. We're going to put 7 up top, and we're going to put 12 on the bottom. Now, let's look at our diagonals right quick. So we have a 9 here, and we have a 7 there. What is the largest number that will go into 9 and 7? Well, the largest number is 1, so that's not going to help us. It's got to be greater than 1. Let's look at these other diagonals. What is the largest number that will go into 12 and 60? Right away, I know that 12 will go into 60, and it'll go into itself. So let's do 12. 12 will go into itself once, and 12 will go into 60 5 times. So we can cross it out and replace it with a 5. And now it's just a matter of multiplying across the top and the bottom. So let's do that real quick. Let me get a different color. Let's do rainbow. So now we have, if I can get it to work, not working. Okay. So now we have 5 times 7 is 35. And 9 times 1 is 9. Now that's a perfectly acceptable answer. That's an improper fraction. But in 6th grade, we also need to be able to write this as a mixed number. So I do that by simply asking myself the question, what is 35 divided by 9? And I can actually just do it like this over here. So let's do 35 divided by 9. 9 will go into 35 3 times without going over. 3 times 9 is 27. And 27 from 35 is 8. So what that tells me is 9 will go into 35 3 whole times. And the remainder is going to be 8. And then, of course, the denominator stays the same. The denominator is going to be 9. So there's 2 answers just for you on how to do the division of those mixed numbers. Now, if you're still confused, let's try another one. Same thing here. We need to turn these into improper fractions by multiplying and adding. So what is 6 times 5? 6 times 5 is 30. And then we have to add 5, which makes it 35. So we're going to put 35 up top. Remember, the denominator stays the same, so that 6 is going to stay the same. And now let's do the same thing with the other fraction. What is 6 times 7? 6, 7. I couldn't resist. What is 6 times 7, y'all? 42. And then we have to add 1, which makes it 43. So 43 is going to be up top. And the bottom number 6 stays the same. Now we have to do the keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's going to know how we're dividing fractions. So we're going to keep this the same. 35 over 6 is the same. We're going to change the division sign to multiplication, and we're going to flip, which means we're going to put our 6 up top, and we're going to put our 43 on the bottom. Now, let's look at our diagonals. What is the biggest number that goes into 6 and 6, y'all? Well, it's 6, right? Well, 6 will go into itself once, so that becomes a 1. And 6 still goes into itself once, so that also becomes a 1. Then we look at our other diagonals, 35 and 43. What is the biggest number that goes into 35 and 43? Well, the unfortunate truth is it's just 1, which means, oops, I messed it up, which means we can't do that trick. We have to keep it as is. But never fear, we can still multiply across the top. So let's do it. Multiplying across the top with the color green. What is 35 times 1? 35 times 1 is 35. And across the bottom, what is 1 times 43? 1 times 43 is in fact 43. And there you have it, folks. That's just in simplest form, and it's ready to go. Let's rock and roll. That's the end of that problem. Would you like to do another one? That's the spirit. Let's dive right into it. Here is another problem solved the same way as the others. First, we're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then we're going to add the numerator. So, 5 times 7 is 35. And 35 plus 4 is 39. So we're going to go ahead and put our 39 up top. And remember, the denominator stays the same. So 5 on the bottom. And now, let's do the same for the fraction to the right. 8 times 8, and then add the 1. We know that 8 times 8 fell on the floor, picked it up, and it was 64. And then if we add 1 more, that's going to make it 65. So our numerator is now 65. And of course, the denominator stays the same. Now, let's do our keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's an action. Everybody's going to know how we're dividing fractions. So we're going to put 39 up top, 5 on the bottom. We keep that. We change the sign to multiplication. And now we flip. We're going to put our 8 up top, and we're going to put our 65 on the bottom. Now, let's do our diagonal trick. Let's look at 5 and 8. What is the biggest number that goes into 5 and 8? Well, 1, so that's not going to help us. It has to be greater than 1. Let's look at the other diagonals. 39. What is the biggest number that goes into 39 and 65? Well, for some reason, I just know this, but 13 will actually go into 39. If you don't know how many times 13 goes into 39, you can just do 39 divided by 13, and you will find that it's 3 times. 13 goes into 39 3 times, and conveniently, 65 is also divisible by 13. And 65 divided by 13 is 5. So that actually becomes a 5. And now we're ready to multiply across the top. We have 3 times 8 is 24. And now we multiply across the bottom. 5 times 5 is 25. And as you can see, that is in simplest form, my friends. We're good to go. Let's rock and roll. Now, would you like to do one more? Of course you would. That's what I'm here for. If you're still watching this video by now, good job. You're the best. Like, seriously. Okay, so let's do it the same way we've done the other ones. So we're going to multiply, and then we're going to add. So we do 3 times 6 is 18, and then 18 plus 1 is going to be 19. So 19 is going to be the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. It stays 3. And now we're going to do the same thing with the other fraction. 1 times 18 is 18. And if we add 1 to that, oh, look at that, we got 19, you guys. So now we have 19 over 18. Okay, now let's do our keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's going to know how we're dividing fractions. So we're going to keep this the same. We're going to keep 9 over 3 the same. We're going to change the sign. Switch it, change it, whatever, to multiplication. And then we're going to flip. We're going to go ahead and put our 18 up top. And we're going to put our 19 on the bottom. Now, children, let's look at our diagonals. What is the biggest number that goes into 3 and 18? Well, I know that 3 is the biggest number that goes into 3 and 18. 3 will go into itself once, so that becomes a 1. 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that becomes a 6. Now, let's look at the other diagonals. What is the biggest number that goes into 19 and 19? Well, 19, y'all. So 19 goes into itself once, so that becomes a 1. And, of course, it still goes into itself once, so that becomes a 1. And now, my friends, we can multiply across the top as well as the bottom. So 1 times 6 is going to be 6. And 1 times 1 is going to be 1. Now, remember, fractions are division problems. So reading top to bottom, we have 6 divided by 1, which, my friends, actually equals 6. And thus, that is your final answer. That is the last example that I'm going to make you sit through, or you can sit through by your own choice. I hope it was helpful to y'all. Here's some fireworks. Y'all done. Mr. Mathman is proud of you. He's super proud of you. He's all like, you're the best. You're so smart. You practiced on your own and you watched a tutorial video. I want to shake your hand. Well, I don't know how to draw a hand, so good luck, y'all. Take care.